Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Peter Goldstein, founder at We Did It Health. And this month, the month of March for us, is Community Month. And so I'm very happy to be bringing another very special guest to this series. And before I do that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who we are in case you don't know. So we did it health. Our vision is for a healthy, happy, well-fed vegan world. And to do that, we're making it our mission to find better ways to be able to inspire hopeful curiosity, because basically what started all this for me was all the resistance I was meeting with people I care about as I was trying to show them all the benefits of being plant-based. And so I think we all share that frustration and that challenge. And so our mission here is to find ways to get around that, find ways to communicate better, find ways to show people the most relevant information they need to see to help them to become curious. And part of our work certainly is a community. So community is very important. And today our focus is on community. So I would like to welcome Sam Roblett, who is founder of a business community. And she will tell you all about her work and her challenges and successes, because community is so very, very important. So Vegan Business Network is the business community that Sam founded and started, and is there ready to welcome all businesses that are not yet part of the community. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you for that, Peter, and I'm so pleased to be here. So thank you for inviting me along today. And just to talk a bit about community. So should I tell you a little bit about where I come from? So myself, I have a background in both corporate and education. And during that time, spent a lot of my time building community engagement within the businesses that I was working within. Particularly within education, community is such an important part of it. And as an educator, feeling that you're part of a community is really, really key, because educators are asked to give way more than they should be. Educators put their whole life into what they do. And so that community feel is something that's really important, and something that, has been a big part of my life for a long time. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with community. So my business is actually Chaos into Calm, and we're an online business management service. And we started back in 2020 in the wake of COVID, just as everyone was being locked down. I'd wanted to start a business that supported vegan businesses for a long time. So I've been vegan just over 8 years now. And when I became vegan, I was very quickly wanted to tell people, about what I'd found out, and how things could change, and how we could make a change by our individual choices. And so I quickly became an activist and started going out onto the street and talking to people and working with various charities to do that. But on the ground, I felt things just weren't moving fast enough. And in the back of my mind, something was telling me, that if we could help more vegan businesses succeed, then actually we'd be able to grow the vegan movement in both ways. By getting people to become vegan, we also need to support them with the products, the services around veganism as well. So we need to bring those two things together. So that really drove me with the heralding of COVID. It drove me to take that step and to go out and to start my business. The reason I moved into a service-based business was because I looked at the range of skills I had, and my first thought was, actually, maybe I could start a restaurant, or, I love cake and coffee, so maybe I could do that. But considering the fact that I own about 100 vegan cookbooks and don't cook, and actually, if I was to do that, I'd probably set the vegan movement back a long way. So I ended up looking at, actually my skills are in supporting businesses with strategy and things like that, and building community. And so that's where I took my business, and that heralded the chaos into calm. And then if I tell you a little bit about how vegan business networking arose, when you start you start any business, you need support and help with it. And so my idea was, I wanted to help vegan entrepreneurs, plant-based entrepreneurs. So I started to join networking groups because I thought, that's the way to do it, to network with people and make connections. And after going to a few, I started to become a bit disillusioned. And then I paid quite a large amount of money to quite a significant networking group it's an international networking group. And I'd already told them I was vegan, and part of it included a meal and everything. And I turned up and sat down, and they said, well, we don't have a vegan option, but gluten-free is okay. And at that point, I knew I wasn't in the right place and that something needed to change. And so that day I went home, started a Facebook group, started a LinkedIn group, and tried to find my group of passionate, purpose-led people. Sorry, Peter, I can't hear you.
Thank you for that. I did have myself muted. So I was saying that I love how the contrast that you experienced with the group that you went to, the frustration then was your motivator. And that's such an important thing for business people to be doing, is when we look at a challenge, the old saying is, when you're handed lemons, make lemonade. And so certainly you've done that, and your group is thriving. I think you have 5,000 members between the two communities. So I applaud you for the amazing job you're doing. Thank you for that. Yeah, and I appreciate that. So one of the things I mostly come at this work, well, I initially come at this work from the health perspective, from the whole food plant-based health perspective, and I've been hearing the leading doctors like Dr. Ornish and Barnard, all of them talking about how we can save 75 to 85% of the healthcare costs, at least in the United States, and all that associated pain and suffering. And for me, my background is in business. And so for me, where my mind went is, well, if we can save that kind of money and that kind of suffering, pain and suffering, then we really need an army of practitioners, of successful, thriving practitioners, to be able to support the consumers going through this major change. And this all certainly holds true for the vegan community also. That we need professionals, we need businesses, we need practitioners, we need the doctors, we need everybody who's offering services in any aspect of a vegan lifestyle to be able to help us make the changes, because as we see, it's not a simple change. There's so much mindset and so many habits and so much there, that the work you're doing helping support vegan businesses is so important to shifting the world. So thank you for that.
Yeah, completely. I completely agree, Peter. And for me, it's been a real eye-opener, because when I went into business back in 2020, and I mean, I've run businesses before previously as well, but actually my mind was set around the fact that I was probably going to go in and work with restaurants, and probably going to be around catering businesses and that kind of thing. But actually what I found once I started to dig under the surface was that actually people were tackling the vegan issue from all different angles. And for me, it was really inspiring, and it actually helped me to feel, it helped me to feel a lot more uplifted in my activism, because when you're going out on a regular basis and doing street activism, and you're talking to individuals, and sometimes, often we have amazing conversations, but often, as they say, kind of those negative ones can hit you a little bit harder than even the 20 positive conversations you have. So I would often sometimes come away from that and think, oh gosh, things just aren't moving fast enough. But building the vegan business networking community has been just amazing for me, because I've found vegan financial advisors, vegan accountants, vegan IT company, vegan book coaches, vegan allergy specialists, vegan and allergy specialists. Pretty much everything is being tackled on some angle. Whether it be the medical side of things, the health side of things, as you say, people are tackling all of these issues across everything. Sanctuaries and for me, it's seeing so many people chipping away at the big block of carnism. Seeing people chipping away at that bit by bit. You don't feel like you're just one person trying to have an impact. For me, it really helped me to feel that I was again part of a movement, and that movement had lots of different angles working at it. And as you say, coming from like the health, the world hunger, the animal compassion, from the environment, actually we all have a place in driving that movement forward. And for me, I do come from an animal rights background, and actually for me, all of those things feed into the same thing, because it's less harm to the animals. And so, yeah, building the community has really helped me with my mental health. And what we hope is that through building community, that we can build that social connection with one another, that helps us as vegans, plant-based people, to be able to tackle some of those issues that, although you might suffer them as a traditional business professional, actually it's another level as a vegan or plant-based professional, because of the way it's seen by some people still.
Beautiful. Yes, and then the community, so many benefits of being in community then. So you're certainly doing a lot to bring together the people in the communities, but then community members, they're benefiting, supporting each other, and feeling part of it. So that's talk a little bit about maybe if you have some specific success stories where maybe you've had members who were desperate about the challenges, and were in fact able to find support in the community. What kinds of ways do people find that kind of support specifically in the community?
Yeah. So we have a few ways that we support people in the vegan business networking community. So as I said before, we initially have people come in via the Facebook group or via the LinkedIn group. And our LinkedIn group is actually massive, has high engagement on there as well. And so people come into those groups to find belonging, to be able to have conversations, to find support, to find advice, to find networking with other professionals and connections with other professionals, those strategic partnerships that people need. They come in, if they're a vegan consumer business, then there are people in there that potentially could be leads as well and support with revenue, but also people that can help them with their businesses. So we support both business to consumer and business to business businesses within that. So what we found is people come in and they can have that general level of community, and they can have that kind of lighter touch support. And as I say, we're international. Initially started off UK based only because that's where I'm based, but very quickly developed into an international group. And it's amazing we have people on every corner of the planet, which is absolutely amazing. So they can come in at that level, and kind of take the support as it's given. But we also run regular networking sessions online via Zoom, which have been really beneficial for those people that have joined part of it, because that just takes the connection to another level. It's a space where we don't record the networking sessions as such, so they're there. People can talk about not only their business and the struggles that they're having with those, or the things that they've done positively, because having those struggles and sharing those is important, but actually sharing those wins is really important with other people as well. Particularly if you're a solopreneur and you're working alone, then actually it's great if you've got people you can share those things with. So we have members that have been very long-standing, as I'm not going to give any specifics, but we have very long-standing members who've been with us since the very beginning and have come to all of those sessions on a weekly basis and have had the support and given support to others throughout that. And that's not just support in finding people leads, but as I said before, support with resilience, support with physical and mental health, and support with access to resources and to be able to find the things that people need to move forward. And then we also run a WhatsApp group behind that, 2 WhatsApp groups behind that. One is a social media support group, so we help each other with social media and sharing posts and things like that. And the other one is a WhatsApp group for just general chat. So it's really a case of the more engaged you can get with a community, the more you get out of it. It's the same with any online community as it is with an in-person community. So what we've found is that those people that really get engaged and really do regularly, have contact with other members, have really benefited from the connections that they've made. But not just, as I say, in that situation of through leads and things, but actually through the personal relatedness of the fact that we all share that same kind of vegan ethos as well.
Beautiful. Well, I know you mentioned about the group that you joined initially that wasn't open and welcoming to vegans specifically. So is and that kind of a group, as I understand them, and I'm not a member of one at this point, but it's primarily for lead exchanges. How much of your group is about lead exchange? And yeah, so if you would talk about that for a moment, lead exchange.
Yeah. So to be honest, we're not there for that purpose. That's a secondary for us. We're there for connection, for growth within your own business. We're there for finding people that are sharing those same things that you're going through. And actually, the leads come through people building relationships, and it's not a forced situation. Whereas some of these large networking groups, they actually target you with X number of leads or X, a financial amount of leads that you have to give. They're very exclusive in that there'll only be one person that does, for example, graphic design within a certain geographical radius. And that's very much linked to the financial aspect of what they do. But what we've found is actually, if you've got people that are doing similar things to you, then work together to do things. You don't have to, we don't have to compete to succeed. And I think that's a real difference. As I say, part of the discussion today is around why it's different for a vegan business to be in a networking group. Is part of our ethos is that we need to work together. And even if you're in the same business doing very similar things, you're not the same people. You don't offer exactly the same services. And so you shouldn't worry about working with someone and alongside someone. So for us, it's about connection. It's about building relationship and building trust, and bonding yourself with those people who have that shared purpose and attitude. And then the leads and things like that come from that on a natural basis, because people are confident in who you are and what you do. And we found it's much more successful for that way, and a lot better for your mental health, that you're not feeling this in competitive way all the time.
Absolutely. So we have, and I wish I knew who this was, this Facebook user, and this saying competitive mindset works well together, mindsets. And absolutely, totally agree with that. And, for me personally, I retired from business. My background is in business. And I remember hearing a new term probably 20 years ago. Somebody told me that part of the future in business is co-opetition. So a collaborative competition, and at the time I could not wrap my mind around it. And so how do you have you are all the best. Thank you, Marquita. Yes, and that goes for you, Sam, and I think for me, but I think that goes for everybody who's doing business and looking to change this world. We're all the best. So yeah, so this concept of collaboration. So in the business world, the business model, the way people are doing business, the way the whole world has all shifted. So now it is about collaborating. It is that every business is as unique as every person is unique. So really opens up for how we can really do so much more if we're collaborating with each other and supporting each other. And so competition is being replaced with collaboration and cooperation. So yeah, so that's wonderful that your group is advocating and supporting that. That is certainly the future of things.
Yeah, I mean, we've been really successful in some of the connections that have been made and the collaborations. I mean, you just have to jump into the group and read down a few of the posts and things about the things that are happening between people, and meetups and things that happen between people in person, particularly in the UK, here of where we were founded. People are meeting up at events, and making their own little communities within the community. And again, we think that's great, because we don't want to limit people. We don't want to say, you have to come just to this one thing. And we're happy for people to share their events and things like that as well, because again, if you can build more community, it benefits us all, and it benefits the animals. So
Absolutely. And to collaborate, I mean, we're all in this together. We all have this huge mission to change the world, and we're all doing it together. And when you look at that perspective, we have such an important truth about being vegan, and how the impact it has on animal justice and our health, and the environment and world hunger. And it's such an important truth, and the whole world really needs to be vegan, and this is a truth we must all embrace. Yet the opportunity is huge, because only a couple percent of the world is vegan. So when you think about it, to participate in a business, to to work with a business to help change lives and to help support people changing their lives, that's such a massive need. It's literally 20 times the capacity we currently have. So we need lots of vegan businesses in all aspects, everything from resources to activism to doctors to chefs to healthcare coaches, everything. We need everything, because we have such a huge mission in front of us to change the world, and certainly that's so daunting for any one of us. And together as a community of businesses, we can change the world, and we are changing the world.
yeah, that's completely right. As I say, the collaboration is so important, and community in business is so important. And it's great to be part of the big vegan business community as well, but it's also worth thinking about kind of your own community for your business, and how your clients and things, and how you interact with them, and how kind of your own business community is. Because you need to think about community not just in the terms of kind of your own community, but also what are you giving. So building your own community, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the form we've done. It might just be in the form of making sure that you're getting regular interaction with your customers, and you're building that community link, that your newsletters are going out, and building that kind of community feel around what you're doing. Because actually having your own community around you, it helps you to position you as an expert in whichever product you're doing, and it helps you to be able to gain insight. If you can get good engagement with your customers in a community feel, you can build good insight into whether what you're putting out is what's wanted, or what else might be needed. And actually, as you say, we need to get all the insight we can, because we need to be moving quickly on this. We don't need to be kind of trying things over and over again. We want to see kind of animals freed as quickly as we can. So we want this to happen quickly. And just putting customers at the center of your business, it's just good customer practice. It's good customer service to do that, and to be getting that feedback from the people that are your consumers, whether you're a service business or a business to consumer business, and helps you just to build that connection with them as well, and allows you to engage with them. So not only participating in a community that supports you, but also being a community leader that supports others and within your business is really important. And where you've got teams, it's making sure that they're a community as well.
Wow, that's so important, the various levels of community. So as a business owner, being part of a community with other businesses, and as a provider, having community for our customers, and then of course the third, as the team feeling like a community. Sam, what are some of your top tips for somebody who's who is running a business? And I'm trying to think. I think every business is a candidate to have a community of customers. So, and now with technology, now with how things are in the world, we can do that. Just about every business can have a community with their customers. So, talk a little bit about how to identify that, how to build it, what are the places to start, what are some of the challenges. So if you would spend a few minutes talking about what a business owner or coach or solopreneur needs to be looking at, to leverage all those resources that are really sitting there with their customers and clients.
Yeah, so I mean, as you say, Peter, there's so many options now. If you're a coach, there's various options of software and things you can use to kind of build community. But it's thinking about actually what you can do with what you have. So if you're a small solopreneur, you need to be thinking about the people that purchase from you can potentially be your community. And so what you need to be doing with them is engaging with them. And it's about engagement and support. So it's about having a good customer support there, so that people can easily find you, and they easily know if there's a problem, or if they want to give you a positive testimonial, they know how to reach you. So it's about being available to people, because actually it helps to build that brand loyalty. So once a customer's purchased from you once, or a client's worked with you once, then actually you need to keep that feel of them being part of something. And some of the best brands that I've seen are those that build up those kind of unique ways of engaging with their customers, and making them feel like they are part of something. And actually, anyone who buys into a vegan product is part of something. You are part of something bigger, because you are choosing to go against the grain and do something more. And so you're part of a bigger community. So some of those bigger brands, for example, that put that out there, VFC is a perfect example of that, in that they really push out that the people that are buying the products are part of something, and that those people that are going to troll and be negative towards it, then actually they do a really good job of building that. And that's part of their brand loyalty, is around how they deal with the community, how things are posted on their social media, and how they react to that. Because, kind of on a side tangent, as a vegan business, we do get held to much higher and more stringent ways of working than normal brands do. For example, if you find a river and cause a load of damage, not saying they have, but if a brand like that, we'd say, oh well, this a business. But you find a vegan business to do something like that by accident, then actually that it would be top headline news, because actually we have that line of ethics that has to be of a higher. People see us and put us on that pedestal, and so we have to show that things can be done in a better way. And so for us, getting our clients to be able to buy into that community and being part of something bigger is really important. And that can be done, like you're saying, in lots of ways. It can be done by physically building a community, but it can also be done through the same feel of community, but through your social media, and through your newsletters and through other engagement. So really, my top tip, going back to that, is really just to think about how your customers are impacting your purpose. So your purpose for your business, how are your customers part of that, and making it known that they're part of something more than just what they purchased at one time. Whether that be you're planting trees to sequester carbon, and they're part of that, and that they know that every time they participate and purchase from you, then they're part of something bigger. And I think that for us, particularly as vegan businesses, whole food, plant-based businesses, that's a really important thing, is for people to know that they're part of something much more than just the individual thing, because it's a big driver in that brand loyalty, really.
Interesting. So I'm thinking that, I think mostly I'm hearing you talk about customers, but I'm thinking that a community would serve prospective customers also. So anytime that we connect with somebody in any way at all, even before they spend money with us, uh, if we can engage them, we can probably be, first of all, serving them, and that's really what it's about, is how do we serve more people, and serving people all we can. But then we create a relationship. So the community is to help create the relationship, and somebody who's a pre-purchaser, a prospect, somebody who hasn't actually bought yet or committed to whatever it is that we're asking them to commit to, they're candidates to be part of our community also, and we can bring them in and work with them and support them, and make them feel wanted, and make them feel, it does things like offer them an opportunity to see how our other customers are appreciating and enjoying what it is that we're offering them, and hopefully there'll be some things they can benefit from even before they spend money.
Yeah. And I think you're right there, Peter. I think there's this real thing of, we see community having to sit within a box somewhere. Like we see, for example, like Vegan Business Networking is a community, and we see they're sort of sat within a group. But actually, the vegan or whole food plant-based communities, they're not in a box somewhere. They're out dispersed. And what we need to think about is actually how we pass those messages out further, like you're saying. So not just to our customers, but to sort of pre-customers or people that might come across our brand or something as they go about their daily lives, and how we bring them into the fold. And again, I think a lot of that is just around being really clear on what motivates you as a business, what motivates you as a brand, and the bigger picture of, bringing people into a community where they feel like they have a purpose, and they're kind of driving something forward, in what they do. And one of the reasons I talk a lot here with you, Peter, at the moment is about kind of customers, is because really in this day and age of capitalism, we really do only have, that's our only real power. And as government, etc., take away more and more of our rights and things, the real power we have is in what we purchase. And so that's why it's really important that vegan businesses, where we put our money is what we're voting with that, because we want more of that. So give me more of that. And so for me, it's really important that vegan businesses are able to convey what they're doing, to kind of to everyone, and to be able to kind of pull people into that purpose. And so I think community can be looked at in a much larger form, than just those that we've kind of have joined as such. I think we can take people into the fold even if they're not necessarily sat within the group. I think some of it is about the messages that we put out as well, outside of those groups. So the groups are really important, and it's great to be part of them, but I think there is a bigger picture to community as well.
Yes, so I know that I refer to the global vegan community, and I think that's what you're referring to, is we are a community, even though we're not organized and formally a community. There's lots and lots of communities that are formal within the vegan world, but the vegan community, in a sense, is one community, also. So.
And I think,
Yeah.
as you were just saying there, it is one community, and I think it can be very easy to kind of put ourselves in little silos of things, and kind of say, well, kind of, and you see this a lot in kind of different activist groups. To be honest, you put yourself in like little silos of things that you're working towards, but actually, it's seeing the bigger picture that everyone's working towards the same thing. And so, although you might have your own small community within something, then actually what you're doing is impacting on the bigger picture as well. And so I think that, again, going back to relationships and feeling safe with one another, it's really important that we get ourselves to a point as a global community. We get ourselves to a point of everyone is trying to do their best, and everyone's best looks a little bit different for them. And some of us can do way much more. As I say, some people go out and do activism and have businesses and all these things, and other people will wear a vegan t-shirt and they'll talk to their friends about it. And neither of those is better or worse. They're all doing their best at the point in time that they're at with the resources and the knowledge that they have. And so allowing them to feel safe within the community rather than excluded is really important. And the more positive and resilient and supportive we are, the more people we can bring in and get people even more active. So that's really, really important.
Absolutely, because one of our global missions is to grow the movement and to save more animal lives and more animal suffering, and have healthier people, and have no more world hunger, and to reverse the climate deterioration and the environmental deterioration. And so for that, we're all in it together, and we're all looking to do the same thing. The big picture end result is the same for all of us. So we are one community, and with so many different voices and so many different angles and so many different strategies to get to the same thing.
Yeah. And as I mentioned before, coming at it from this angle and seeing so many people come together with so many different angles, as you put it, so many different ways and things that they're tackling. And as I say, each with their own little specific thing that's important to them, their own little purpose that's really important that they want to see either eradicated or, expanded. And to see everyone's individual little purpose built into a bigger purpose in a community is just so inspiring and encouraging for me, that we will get to a point where we are seeing the tables turn, and we are seeing that when I go and stand on the street and talk to people now, I don't have this feeling inside me of, oh gosh, I'm doing this, but what impact am I making? Actually now I go and I talk to people, and I'm like, well, okay, even if you're not there right now, when X, Y, and Z businesses crop up, and when you start to see these other things come forward, you will make that switch, because it will be providing you with what you need. And so it's been really good for me to see those two angles of kind of the movement, which is and it's a really exciting time to see all the new things that are popping up. Every week someone new joins, and I'm like, wow, that's a really good thing to do. That's an amazing business. We want to shout this from the rooftops. So yeah, it's a lovely community to be in, and yeah, just exciting times.
Well, I'm feeling motivated to find ways to celebrate all those businesses in your community, and so, like you're saying, when a new one pops up, when something different, I'd love to find a way to celebrate that. Maybe there's a way we can celebrate your businesses in our We Did It That Health community. Maybe you and I can talk about that offline, and finding a way to highlight those businesses, because all these businesses are so very important, and we need to do this together. We need to cover all the aspects, all the concerns, all the different things that consumers and everybody needs. So Hello, Susan. I see you've joined us. Welcome, and welcome everybody who's joined us. And please post your questions. We would love to address your questions that anybody has out there. And here in our live show. And of course, if you're watching the recording, please reach out to us at We Did It That Health, and we'll make sure we get your questions to Sam, or join Sam at Vegan Business Network. She's available through it, or through her business, Chaos into Calm. So, which is so appropriately named, Sam, because chaos, as business owners, we often feel like we're in chaos, and sorting out the chaos is so important, and we're so much more productive as a business when we can be calm and collected and focused on what really needs to be happening, and having clarity in our strategies and processes and missions. So thank you for all you're doing, Sam. um, yeah, I'll say something about our work. So we did at That Health. We're in process of launching a community, and our mission is to offer everybody a voice. So please watch for our community coming up. We're working on the technology, and keep thinking that we're almost there, and I'm sure we are almost there. So we'll be launching it, and a little secret about it is we're organizing our community in groups or chapters, and we're calling that passion pods. So whatever it is, see what it is that you're passionate about, and come and join us, and help us share your voice on your passion, so that we can inspire each other and support each other as we're looking to inspire the world. um, and what I'd like to do is I will post a link. I have this link here. If you are interested in learning more about our passion pods and our work, please go to this form, and fill out the form, and then we'll be able to get in touch with you. Uh, can you share a couple success stories where the network helped a business professional move forward with their business?
So we have our sessions on a regular basis where people can come along and kind of talk around the things that might be going on in their business at the moment, and people will share their ideas, and they're able to talk about the challenges that are going on in their business. And so what we find is that very quickly people will jump on and support one another. They're always willing to collaborate with one another. The WhatsApp group we have runs constantly with people sharing ideas, sharing links to information, thinking about sort of specific ones. We tend to ask people to share their wins at the beginning of the session. And we've had people that have launched product lines locally, and then have been able to get them out into other countries as well. Within the group, we've had one member that we have particularly has had quite a lot of success with the group supporting with some of their book launches and things for some of their clients. So where we've been in supported things like that. We've also had businesses that have been close to the point of giving up, and they've come along to a group, and we've had discussions during the session and help that business to think about how they're going to move forward with things, and encourage them to continue and to take a step back, maybe relook at some of the marketing and things that are going on in the business. Because the thing is, there is so much expertise across all of the 5,000 members, And that business particularly, they've carried on. They've slowed things down a bit, but they have carried on, and it's meant that business didn't fail, and it's also meant that the emotional well-being of the business owner was supported, because they did make that intelligent jump, and they jumped on a call with us, and jumped into that safe space where they could just say, you know, things aren't going the way that I expected they would. Things aren't moving as quickly. What do I do? And they had that support there to be able to, you know, to support them through, so that they didn't fail. They get to carry on, and just take a step back and relook at what they're doing and how they're building their business. So the real benefit of the groups, as I say, are when you can really jump in, really engage. There's so much expertise between all of us in so many different areas, and myself and Jane, who kind of community manages the groups, we try to link people up. So if someone's looking for a particular member, we try to link them up with people that can support them, as well as being able to sort of highlight if there's opportunities for people where we might see that something that they perhaps haven't seen, because we kind of come from the strategy background. We might see things that links between different businesses that perhaps they hadn't considered. So, you know, that's the real big success is the real big success is not in what we know as myself and Jane as community manager. The real success is in what is in the expertise of everybody, and that's what I love about community groups, is that we don't have to know everything, and you don't have to know everything, because the whole point is everyone is there, and someone will know something and enough to be able to support you. And that's where I love community. As I say, coming from that education background, community is all important to me. And, you know, building it this way through business, and building it through a way that is accessible to everyone. We don't charge any fees. It's completely free. So the work that Jane does is all on a voluntary basis, and so we don't expect anything from people other than to come, bring their knowledge, make it a happy, safe space to be, support one another, and drive the movement forward.
Drive the movement forward. That's really, at the end of the day, what it's all about. I love you talking about the synergy, because that's what a community can do, is synergize and come up with perspectives and support and ideas and things that none of us can. And you know, it reminds me of the mastermind concept. That's a very small, controlled community, but the mastermind concept, coming out of whose work is it now? For a second, I'm forgetting. But the idea was that a small group of people, this is based on what some of the most successful people 100 years ago were practicing, people like Ford and Rockefeller and those people, was they would get together in a small group and share their problem, and then everybody would brainstorm on the solution for it. And so from the solution, everybody was able to synergize and come up with better solutions than any one person ever can. And that's the opportunity of being able to do that in a community. Yes, Napoleon Hill. Thank you, Susan. Yes, Think and Grow Rich. And so it's a secret of successful people, and that's community. So Jane says, would you like to read Jane's comment here?
Yeah. I was just going to say, yeah, Jane's popped in there that, you know, frequently we have posts that go into the vegan business networking community that are people asking for feedback. So people will ask for feedback on, you know, whether this brand logo is better or this one, or you know, and kind of doing that A/B testing with a small group of people. So we're beneficial there. And James just said, even today, a solopreneur wrote that their first post ever and shared with our community, and we were able to connect them with another long-term member to give them some support and guidance. So yeah, making those connections and those links, you know, is part of what we're doing every day.
Beautiful. So many opportunities and synergizing and growing and supporting each other. That's how the world is. And as we're evolving to being so much more conscious, certainly being vegan for me, I'm absolutely clear that the next evolution of human consciousness does include being vegan. And it's interesting how in this on the same token, vegan businesses are leading the conscious business movement. So I'm finding, being in this space myself, I'm loving how conscious and caring and collaborative and supportive everybody is. So, in groups and in community is the way we're doing it now.
Yeah.
Um,
And as I say, Peter, sort of vegan businesses, communities, even more important for us as vegan businesses, because we are different to some degree. And the big difference is, as I said before, that we are held to much higher levels of ethics and scrutiny, not only by people outside of the vegan community, but by other vegan businesses and other vegan community members. We are looked to be the models for what should be happening, rather than kind of just making the best of the situation. People look for us to be able to drive things forward, to show progress, and for us to be kind of above reproach on anything we do. And so that situation of where we were saying before, of being able to soundboard against other people, and having that safe space where you can say, well, if I do this, is that okay? Is it okay for me to do this? Or, does anyone have a better idea of how I could do this? And so, where we've had businesses that have moved from having plastic packaging because they're a vegan business, and actually plastic is not a big deal for kind of necessarily for a vegan business. Actually thinking about it on a higher level, we've been able to connect them with kind of vegan packaging that's been a kind of mushroom and things like that, which takes them that extra level up. So we're able to help people not only to make sure that their business is ethical, but that the ethics level increases, because we are always going to be at that scrutiny level. People are looking for things that vegan businesses might be doing wrong or might not be getting as right as they should be. And so having that community support is really important, and particularly when things go well, but particularly when things don't go quite so well, and having that backup is important. And just having that bigger vision is something that you don't see in business networking communities normally. What you see is lots of people with their own purpose, and their purpose is to grow their business and to make profits. But actually, we want to grow our businesses and be able to make profits and survive, but we also want to grow something much, much bigger. And that's something that's really unique to the vegan and plant-based community, that you don't find in normal business communities, is that kind of bigger picture. And at the moment, the vegan scene is evolving so much. As I said to you, businesses popping up in everything from, baby formula to kind of military experiment level stuff, that has previously required animal testing that won't any longer if it's successful. So it's everywhere, and it's evolving so much, and we can make such an impact with the businesses that we have if we go with that vegan stance on them. So with things evolving so quickly, having a network of people that, again, you can soundboard off of, you can get support from, you've got a ready group of people that are there ready to, champion your business. They're there ready to support you. And as I say, just having that support that can't be found with those who don't have that same purpose, as I found in that very large, very expensive networking session that day. I just couldn't find that inner connection that I wanted to find. Yet every time I join our networking group, or every time I go onto our LinkedIn or Facebook groups at Vegan Business Networking, I find that again, and I find that inspiration again every time I go on, and that it builds that excitement in me, that things are moving forward. So that's where it's important to find your vegan business community, over and above just a general business group.
That's amazing. And here's Jane chiming in. She says, just as a rough guide, we have over 119 different categories of businesses in your Facebook community, and that's amazing. That boggles my mind. How can there be that many categories? But really, I'm sure there are, and I'm sure there's a lot more. And it just goes to show how it takes a community. So in a sense, all these 119 businesses are community because everybody does some different aspect of what the vegan world really needs. So as a community, so it's a community, you could almost say a community of business categories, all these different categories synergizing and working together to make this a vegan world.
Yeah. So if people do want to join us, so if you're considering starting a business, or if you have a business, however big or small, and you're vegan, plant-based, do come along and join us, because we're on Facebook. We can be found at Vegan Business Networking if you just type that in, and we're on LinkedIn. LinkedIn group is also Vegan Business Networking, and we love to have as many people as part of the community, I say, because every single person brings their own unique and individual aspect to the community and has such an impact. And you bring a group of people together, it's not one person striving against it anymore, it's a whole group of people supporting one another. And as we know, once you put like we've said before, that one little army ant on his own can't do a lot, but actually when you've got a whole anthill of people, anthill of ants all striving for the same thing, they can move the earth. So if you fancy coming and joining us, please do, because you'll be very welcome. It's a safe space, completely free, and we come and help us move the movement forward.
Moving the movement, that's beautiful, and you're doing a wonderful job. I applaud your success as represented by the growth of your numbers. That's really beautiful. And it's almost time for us to end here. Any final thoughts that you'd like to share, Sam?
So my big one is, as I say, big or small, if you're considering starting a business, if you're big business owner and you've got a big business, if you're a big vegan community, a big vegan business, come and join us as well, because we need you to be able to show us the way as well. So small, big, whatever, everyone's voice is really important. And just one final thought is just really excited to be supporting. Oh, thanks, Susan. You're coming along to join. That's brilliant. Just one final thought. As I say, we've been working along with Peter and We Did It Health to help them build their community, to help to build the Thrive and Aspire community and the Passion Pod community groups. And so I hope to see you there as well.
Well, thank you for that, and I appreciate you mentioning it, Sam. And everybody, please do join us. And next Saturday is going to be the topic of our call, of our live program here. We're going to launch our Passion Pod concept. We're going to invite people to join us and around community, around our individual passions and the kinds of things that we want to inspire people who are not yet vegan on. So our mission is to have better tools and a great community, so that we together can inspire people who are not yet vegan to what we're calling hopeful curiosity. So they will say, you know what, this just makes sense. I can't believe that I'm still eating and torturing animals. I really need to look into this. I really need to change my lifestyle. So that's our mission, and we have some exciting news to share. news, and really the news is that we're in planning, we're in development, we're in beta, coming into, and that's the best way to state it, coming into a beta phase with our community, with our passion pods, and we really need your support. We'd love to have you be part of that conversation, and we need everybody's help to launch our community so that together we can make this a healthy, happy vegan world. So with that, thank you so very much, Sam, and thank you everybody for joining us live and for watching this podcast after it's recorded. It is available on our YouTube channel. We did it .health. So please watch all these other wonderful recordings that we have. We're building a library of some really amazing talks and conversations. So I would like to say goodbye now and thank you so much. And something I learned from the leader in our community, the leader for climate change, climate healers, is the secret vegan handshake, which is Namaste Vegan. So thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Sam. Bye-bye.